In a village surrounded by mountains lived Aisha, a young girl who dreamed of freedom. Every evening, she looked at the sky and whispered, "One day, I will walk without fear. One day, I will speak without chains." By her side was Malik, her childhood friend. He believed freedom was only a word, too big for simple people. But Aisha refused to remain silent. The village of Azura was beautiful, yet fragile. Stone houses stood against time, but the people lived in quiet fear. Soldiers passed through from time to time, imposing absurd rules. The elders bowed their heads, children learned to keep silent. Aisha, however, resisted. She saw in the wind sweeping the mountains a promise. Nothing could be imprisoned forever. One day, the village was threatened by those who wanted to impose silence. The people trembled, but Aisha rose and declared, "Freedom is not a luxury, it is our breath. If we lose it, we cease to live." Malik, moved by her courage, chose to follow her. Together, they gathered the youth of the village. In an abandoned barn, they met. Faces were grave, hands trembled. But Aisha spoke with strength. "We cannot change the world in a single day, but we can begin here. We will march, we will sing, and remind everyone that freedom is our right." Her words lit a spark in their hearts. One by one, the young villagers nodded. They were afraid, but they were ready. They prepared torches, chants, and slogans. Malik still hesitated, but in Aisha's eyes, he saw a light he could not ignore. That night, they lit the torches and walked through the streets of the village. They sang words of truth. The villagers came out of their homes, surprised. Some joined them, others watched in silence. Their voices crossed the mountains, and soon other villages joined them. What had begun as a whisper became a powerful cry. "We are the children of the wind, and no wall can imprison us." The soldiers watched, uncertain. The fire of the torches lit up the faces, and the chant echoed like thunder. The march spread. Hundreds of people joined the movement. Malik, once hesitant, spoke before the crowd. "Freedom is not a crime." The soldiers tried to disperse them, but the chants drowned their orders. The people had found their voice. The repression was violent. Some were arrested, others wounded. Aisha and Malik were imprisoned. In the dark cell, Aisha said to Malik, "Even behind these walls, we are free, for our voices have crossed the mountains." Outside, the chants continued. The youth who had not been arrested took up the slogans, relit the torches. The story of the children of the wind spread to the cities. The slogans became posters, the chants became hymns. The elders of the village, once silent, began to speak. Families told the story of Aisha and Malik as a living legend. The people began to believe in their collective strength. The prison became a place of whispered hope. Other prisoners listened to Aisha's words in the dark. She told them, "Freedom begins in the heart. If you carry it inside, no chain can hold you." Malik, once doubtful, now spoke with conviction. He encouraged the others. "We are not alone. Outside, our brothers and sisters march for us. Every torch they light is a promise that we will not be forgotten." Meanwhile, in the villages, mothers taught their children the chants. Fathers carved symbols of the wind into wood and stone. The movement became more than protest, it became culture. Songs were sung at weddings, chants whispered at funerals. The cry of freedom became part of daily life. The soldiers grew restless. They tightened their grip, but the more they tried to silence the people, the louder the voices became. One commander asked his men, "How do you fight the wind? It is everywhere, and it cannot be caught." Months passed. The prisons overflowed. But the spirit of the people overflowed even more. Aisha and Malik were eventually released, not because the authorities wanted it, but because keeping them locked away only made them martyrs. When they returned to Azura, the entire village gathered. Children ran to them, elders blessed them, and the chants rose again. "We are the children of the wind." After months of struggle, the authorities finally gave in. Villages regained their rights, books were returned, gatherings were allowed once more. Aisha and Malik, standing on the hill, watched the wind blow. "You see, Malik," said Aisha, "even the smallest flames can ignite a fire." Malik smiled, "And that fire is called freedom." Aisha and Malik were no longer just two friends. They had become the symbols of a people who had chosen to stand tall. If this story touched you, subscribe now and join us in keeping the flame of freedom alive.